Hi everybody, welcome to another video. If you don't already know me, hello, I am Jen, and today I'm going to be talking about learning a new language. So I've been learning Chinese for just over a year now, and I have come to realize what might work for me and what doesn't work for me when it comes to learning this new language. Because the goal for me is to be fluent, you see. So I just wanted to share some of my tips to be the most successful as you possibly can be when learning a new language. And these are just my own tips, but maybe they will be helpful to you. So I've been learning Chinese through my university. It's one of my little free classes that I get to take. I'm also learning this language while I'm doing other things such as working and also going to business school and doing a bunch of other stuff on the side and making sure I have a social life and all that too. So I just kind of wanted to share my tips for learning a new language while being a person that does a lot of stuff, so that you can still learn it efficiently and quickly. So if you're just starting out learning a language, I would probably recommend some kind of commitment. I mean, if you are the kind of person that can learn a new language completely by yourself and teaching yourself, then I honestly admire you to no end. But I am the kind of person that I need a commitment, otherwise I will start putting it aside and doing other things instead. So my university, let's say, offers a program. It's free classes that are every Saturday, and you can go to these classes and basically learn the language by other students who are teaching just for experience. Or you could just do a regular course like I did, or follow along some online course that will teach you week by week, etc., etc. My second recommendation for people just starting out, or even if you're not starting out anymore, is to find a way to document your progress. For myself, I did vlog my entire trip to China just so that I could see kind of where I was. Even if I didn't speak Chinese in those vlogs, I actually, when I watch them back, I can remember exactly where I was and like how much I could communicate with those people just by seeing those vlogs. Even if you find a way just to like keep old assignments, or when you first started learning and you just started writing whatever language you're learning out, then kind of keeping those aside somewhere might be a good idea, because you can look back on it and really see how far you've come. Number 3, my personal tip, this is just what really worked for me, is downloading the app called Tandem. I know that there's a lot of apps like this one out there, but I used Tandem. I didn't really try the other ones, so whatever, use any one of them. Doesn't matter. But this app basically allows you to match with people who are from the country that speak your language. Like for me, it matched me up with people in China who wanted to learn English, so they matched up with me. So I met quite a few people on here, and literally for now months I've been video chatting to people regularly so that I can like practice speaking Chinese, and then they can practice speaking English, and then they like teach you new and native ways to say things rather than what you get taught in the class. So that is super helpful. And I've also made some really good friends that hopefully I get to visit this summer. So tip number 4 is to actually immerse yourself in the environment wherever you can. And I don't mean that as just go to that country and immerse yourself surrounding them, but even as simple things like, for example, me and my friends who are all learning Chinese, we will go to Chinese restaurants in our city and only speak Chinese to them and with each other. Well, as much as we can anyway. But the only thing is I'm still working on going to the Chinese supermarket for groceries and speaking Chinese to the people helping me get the food and checking me out, because that's just a little bit more intimidating for me, I think. I don't know why, but it just feels more intimidating. Now, after you kind of start out, I personally started to realize that like I reached a point where I've like almost plateaued, because if you now dropped me in the middle of China, I would be able to survive. Like I'm not good, but I can use certain words to get by. So now it just feels like, okay, I'm just learning words, and that's all I can do right now, and I have to find some kind of motivation. So my tip number 5 then would be to find some kind of motivation to help you keep motivated when learning the language. For me, when I went to China, like I think I found it. I love the country, and I also find that because I'm in business school, learning the language will be super helpful and give myself some kind of advantage over other candidates for positions of jobs. As well as now I have so many friends who are from China that I just absolutely adore them, and I want to keep learning so that I can keep talking with them. And by learning this language, it opens me up to like 1 billion people that I can now speak to. It's kind of magical to me, so I kind of want to keep going with it, and I want to be fluent. Like that's the goal, even though I personally know that now it will take a really long time for me to get there, but I can do it. I can do it, and you have to tell yourself that too. You can do it. Find your motivation. Number 6 is also something that will keep you kind of going, because if I was just taking classes now, I would learn, but not nearly as much as if I immersed myself in the different pieces of their culture, such as the music. Chinese music is kind of cool. If, let's say, you're learning French, I know French music is hip. And then also watching the movies and TV shows, etc., etc. And that's a lot of fun. And I would just watch it with English subtitles just so I can get used to listening to it. And then one of my language partners from Tandem gave me some advice to actually write down some sentences from those movies or TV shows that I liked. So that's what I've also been doing. I've been writing those down so that I have some bigger vocabulary or some sentences that might be useful. Even if you just go and like kind of find out the history about the country or the language itself, it'll kind of give you a deeper appreciation of like where it came from and of the people themselves that speak the language. Okay, so my next tip might sound a little bit strange. It might be a little bit dumb even, but it is something that I've been doing because it's been helping me with Chinese. I talk to myself a lot more than one should care to admit. I will be walking down the street and I will be narrating the situation to myself in Chinese, practicing the tones, because you know there's different tones and I still have trouble differentiating between some of them. So it's like if I say it out loud, I might be able to like get it. And I don't know why, but it literally happens to me every single day, almost all the time. It's a little bit embarrassing if somebody catches me doing it, but you know what? It's kind of helping. I think so anyway. The next tip is to challenge yourself. And this kind of brings me back to the point of when I talked about immersing yourself in the language where you can. Like, I'm still working on practicing my Chinese wherever I can. Hopefully I can get more comfortable with my friends who speak Chinese so that I can talk to them more. It's just weird kind of when you're practicing with friends. I think it's a little bit different than when you're practicing with your teacher or with like the other people who you're learning with. It's a little bit of a different kind of feeling, I suppose. But anyway, challenging yourself wherever possible, like literally put yourself out there and like try your best. Like find people on like Tandem and just go for it and just try messaging as much as possible. Even if you make mistakes, it's completely okay because this is how you learn. And even though I'm the kind of person like I don't like making a lot of mistakes, but I will always learn from them. So it's a little bit frustrating sometimes when it's like almost embarrassing when you're learning a language and you make so many mistakes. But honestly, it is the only way you can learn, and it's just something you almost have to kind of accept, and this will make you thrive, I promise. So that's kind of the big tips. Now let's go to the smaller tips. These are just some like small tiny things that kind of have been helping me out. I think joining clubs. In my university there is a club that like you can practice language speaking. Something else that I really like to do is I take some of my favorite songs, whether they're in English or Chinese, and then I'll translate them into the other language, because then this way I have to write it out. Like I like to write it out. Then you learn more vocabulary and you learn more usages of how the grammar works too. I also want to mention too that when you're learning a language, there isn't like a right and wrong way to learn, but there is a right and wrong way to teach. So if you're getting a tutor or a teacher, I think it would be really useful to make sure that they have some kind of experience in teaching the language that you're learning, because I was taking a small like program, like the Saturday courses I was talking about. I was taking some of those courses to learn a different language other than Chinese, and the students teaching it didn't have a whole lot of experience in teaching, and so we kind of went from like here to here to here to here, and it wasn't one flow of like learning the language. Like I could not get the grasp of it, and it was too fast. Like it's just good to make sure that they have experience in teaching and like the order in which things should be taught, just so that you can understand more, because that is pretty important. Otherwise you'll get frustrated and they'll get frustrated, and then I don't want you to give up on learning this language, because this language can open up so many doors for you. I think that's pretty much it actually. Those are some of the main tips that have helped me, and I think would be able to help you too. I hope they help you anyway, but I think that's it. So I'll let you guys leave off with that. If you are learning a new language though, please let me know, what language is it? I'm so curious to know what kind of languages people are interested in learning, and maybe why you're learning it too, because that's also super interesting to know. So I'll leave you guys off with that. If you did like the video, make sure to like the video, and if you do like me and the things that I talk about, make sure to subscribe to my channel, because I hopefully will be posting more. Again, still in school, so kind of hard, but I'm doing my best here. I hope you guys have a great day, great night, whatever it is for you. Just smile and be happy. All right. Yep. That's all.